And we're off to the races, like I normally say. Ladies and gentlemen, I am completely honored because today I have a fellow podcaster. Occasionally, I get a wonderful radio host slash podcasters. They like to think that we're we do it all, right? We wear every cap, every hat there is to wear within a studio. In front of now, it's obviously we have the video component, but it used to be audio only back in the good old days. I'm happy because this way we're able to show our $1 billion face, right? And without further ado, guys, it is my honor to represent to you guys the host of Randomness of Nothing podcast, or T.R.O.N, guys, Mr. Rashad Woods.
Very much appreciative of that. Thank you so much. It's feeling. I feel big right now, and I'm only 5'8". You know what I'm saying? So thank you.
Well, I'm 3 feet. If it makes you feel it makes any difference, because I'm sitting on a stool here to give you some leverage, and this way I don't pop off like that.
Oh my
I'm,
goodness.
I'm 6'4", but obviously we're shrinking these days
No, I know.
because we're getting bigger. It's what we're growing sideways.
Right.
I'm super thrilled. I mean, help me understand right off the bat. I mean, there's so much you could talk about, but you're a martial artist in 3 or 4
Yeah.
different practices. So, like, you're a black belt in, was it Tang Soo Do? Is that what it is?
Tang Soo Do. It's Korean.
Tang Soo
Correct.
Do.
South
All right.
Korean. Yes, sir.
And then
Yep.
and then you're a brown belt in Taekwondo.
That is correct too, as well. Yeah.
And then you're actively pursuing a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Is that what you're actively doing?
So I take Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. That's one of the eventual goals. I mean, that's a very difficult sport because it's on the ground as opposed to standing up. So shout out to Downriver Jiu-Jitsu, where I train at, and my coach, Brent Insco, and all those guys down there who have nurtured me for the last couple of years. That's going to take much longer, and then I do Muay Thai as well too.
Wow, you lay it down on the ground, quite literally.
Not according. If you saw it, you wouldn't think so. There's a lot of guys that are much more talented than me, though.
Yeah. Well, I love that. You're so humbled, and I think that's one of the qualities we podcasters have, where we try to stay as humble and grounded as possible.
For sure.
It's good to leave the ego at the door, as we like to say.
Sure.
So go ahead, tell me.
No, I said no, for sure. And so, it's weird because I'm used to being the one asking the questions, right? So, it's
go ahead.
No, martial arts just take a lot of discipline, so it's a lot of fun.
So this is the Almost Famous radio podcast that I run. Almost every other day I'll have somebody on, and then I spit them out throughout the week, maybe 2 a week, perhaps.
Yeah.
Typically it's what we do. Let them take its course and write it out, and people can actually appreciate each show and give people the well-deserved respect, right? I was going to tell you, Rashad, that you're not the first one. So I had Dr. Marissa. Okay. And Dr. Marissa's been at it for like 13 plus years. And bless her heart, she talks a lot, man. And she's great at what she does. I will point this out. And so it was funny. It was like a back and forth. And at some point, I don't know who was asking the questions and who was. I love it. There's no wrong or right way of doing it. We're just having a conversation, right?
That's the best way about it. And realistically, I think that's why I call it the randomness of nothing, because the people that I've interviewed are experts in their fields, whether they're ex-military, they've created something from scratch, they compose great music, etc. I'm not that talented. But the one thing I had is like research and gift of gab. I watch documentaries. Yeah. I research things. I know regular, like you'll make a sentence and I'll reference like an obscure movie about the sentence that we're talking about. And either you got it or you didn't get it, right? So it's So it kind of came organic,
my friend. Yeah.
Yeah. So, it wasn't as cool growing up, but now it's cool now because now we like have the internet to like validate our random silly thoughts, right?
I got silly questions that I drafted for you. These are right off the top. Yeah. These are random questions. Okay, ready? I'm gonna hit you with everything I got. There's no right or wrong questions, but I kind of get into your psyche a little here. So, if a motorcycle gang of aliens showed up to your front step or your doorstep and asked you to join their crew, what would you pack first? Assuming, of course, you're gonna join the band of thieves.
I can't, honestly, I think that unless my family comes with me, I'm not coming. Straight up. That's the first foremost question.
That's a condition.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, it's
So you
not
got
happening.
conditions.
Yeah,
All
not
right.
happening.
If colors had personalities, okay, which
Mhm.
well, that's a whole other thing we could go down, but I'm not gonna pursue that.
Right. Yeah,
I
it's
was
all
gonna
good.
say, well, they have those color rings. I remember
Right.
personality. So if colors have personalities, which color would hate you the most?
Ooh.
And which one would love you the best?
I would say probably reds probably would hate me the most, right? Because I just don't wear them really well. And
You're
I'm
afraid or what? You're like, I'm
no,
afraid.
definitely not. Definitely. I mean, you ask anybody who grew up with me, they'll tell you I'm the furthest thing
No,
from a tough guy.
right.
And then I would say, probably navy blue probably fits me the best and stuff like that. I'm biased sometimes to that.
So soothing, isn't it?
It is, man. It goes with everything,
Okay,
man.
there's more. Imagine you're a pro wrestler, okay?
Okay.
So whatever, I don't know your era. The Hulk Hogan was like
Oh,
my
for sure.
era, and
Yeah.
God rest his soul, and Macho Man. But like it's nowadays, it's not even an era thing, right? Like
No.
we do our due diligence, and we go way back, and then we go forwards, and we like all of the fighters from because we're able to watch them almost in real time, the replays.
Right.
Um, okay, so imagine you're a pro wrestler. What is your intro song? Okay,
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
and your signature move or finisher at that.
That's it's funny. A long time ago, I thought about that, and I was like, "What would
Mhm.
be my intro song?" And I would honestly have to say, "Them Bones" by Alice in Chains. I don't know how familiar you are with them, but that's an absolute epic, just
Wow.
bone crushing track. I'm a huge grunge fan, and I would
Okay.
have to say, my finishing move. I mean, anything that would involve jumping off a turnbuckle. I don't know the specifics of what to call it, but it'd be something
Yeah.
karate related. You know what I'm saying?
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah, of course. So that's why I thought about it because I read that in the bio in the bio, and I
yeah,
said, "Oh, I got a question for you, sir." Yeah,
yeah.
Alice Cooper was my favorite '90s band, by the way.
Ooh, heavy.
They're like the Metallica of the '90s.
No, dude, they were
That's what
so
I used to
good.
call them.
Right.
Or Slayer, probably, because most of the
Slayer
music
stuff. Yeah.
wasn't that hardcore. Okay, so if you could be any personality, okay, so we're talking public figures here.
Right.
Who would you be and why? It could be historical or present day.
Honestly, it would as a kid, I was such a big and still am Wesley Snipes, man. Like that was oh my gosh, man.
The shit,
Like
right?
man, like Blade dropped in 1998. I'm 15 years old, and I saw that preview, and I'm like, what is this? Right. And like
Next level.
he's a
Next
black
level.
superhero. He's a
Yep.
vampire slayer. And it's rated R. I mean, yeah, The Crow came out and Spawn came out, and props to both those
Sure.
movies. I love them both. But that movie was different, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, in the 90s, like, between White Man Can't Jump, Blade, Passenger 57, and everything else, like, it still is that dude because he was in Deadpool
Yeah.
3, but Wesley Snipes,
The
man.
only time they killed that guy was the fucking FBI or the IRS.
Right. And if Wesley somehow sees this, I still love you no matter what, man.
I don't care, Wesley, because you evaded it for so long. You're living the
Oh,
life. And
yeah.
then guess what? He's coming back with the vengeance. I hear
He's
there's more.
I
Well, we're
love
gonna
Wesley.
get more of him for sure for
I
days. He's still young, dude.
Yeah,
So
I love.
young.
Yeah,
All right.
that was my hero.
I got a couple more.
Yeah,
If you could be president of the United States,
yeah.
okay, not
Okay.
no relation to the dude that's sitting there now. If you could be president of the United States, what famous rock star would you bring to the White House, and what drug of choice would you indulge in with him or her?
It would.
Remember, there was a president in the old days who brought Elvis to the White House. You remember that? You don't remember it,
Yes,
but you read it.
I've read about it. I've read about it. Yeah.
Okay, you read about.
So I don't do drugs, so it'd have to be some sort of like alcoholic beverage. It'd have to be
Yeah,
like maybe like a wine. I would say you talking about historical or present right now.
historical or
I,
present
oh,
day.
I would have to say if I could have been president and brought a rock star, no, the red carpet treatment would have been for Jimi Hendrix. 150%.
Purple
150.
haze all in my sleep.
Absolutely. I
Hey,
mean,
taught himself how to play left-handed, dude.
yes.
Left-handed
Yeah.
guitarist.
And people don't
Holy
understand.
shit, doesn't get
I
any
mean,
better than that.
people don't remember that, like he was actually like a backup guy, right? And so,
Mhm.
and then he I may be getting my facts wrong, but he was also for a short time period around the Isley brothers as well too, and if I'm getting that, I just like, I mean, you couldn't even make this up. And this guy was like, people were like, dude, this dude is not a backup guitarist at all.
Let's not forget, what was he to the United States? Na, 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 na,
yes. Yes, absolutely. It's Epic Star Spangled Banner. Yep,
because
for sure.
He served in the military and he was discharged for smoking a few joints at the same time.
He was.
Like this to the guitar.
Yeah, I would have to say 100% Jimi Hendrix. 100%.
Yeah, Jimi Hendrix is the shit, man. It was like people argued. Okay, so here's where, because metal and rock, so now we can really get into this just for a slight bit, and then we're gonna get back to you because I like to but it's fun because I can shoot the shit with you. I think you like randomness, and
I do.
We talked about this. Okay, so let's delve in a little bit, go down the barrel here. With let's see, Jimi Hendrix, okay, and we're talking about rock stars from the old days. It is arguably considered that it's either between Hendrix or Black Sabbath that started heavy metal. But if you listen to Jimi Hendrix, which is just blues, but more harder blues, all his stuff is just like basically most of it, all heavy metal is derived from blues,
Yeah, absolutely,
but
it is.
Like if you listen to his stuff, it's heavy for his time period.
Unquestionably.
What are your thoughts, Rashad?
He was so ahead of his time. And so the things that he accomplished, I watched a brief documentary on him as well, too, a while back. The details are a little fragmented for me while I'm thinking this off the top of my head. But his influence was so heavy that even if it wasn't directly, heavy metal, absolutely people got their style from him. Slash from Metallica said, hey, this guy influenced my guitar playing, right? So for sure. So, it's all about, just a quick side thing, Nirvana, Dave Grohl said he learned how to do Teen Spirit from the Gap Band, right? And you're like, right. So like, it's
my friend used to roll with them. Actually, someone was their stagehand.
That's awesome,
Gap Band, dude. And it's such a great band.
Oh, they were fantastic. Yeah, fantastic.
It goes to show you that it blurs the lines. Like everything bleeds over. Like you'll see like hip hop and rock, and people are like, well, of course, the new metal and the Run DMCs with the the Walk This Way kind of thing that kind of started it all, as it were, and the Beastie Boys that were a punk band originally from New York, Brooklyn. But all this stuff is just it's semantics, it's words, and it is beautiful words. With harmony, and sometimes very not so harmonious. It's a little louder and harder. It depends on who's behind it, and maybe how they're feeling. It's all based on feelings.
Yes,
but it's all intertwined at the end of the day. They're just words.
I can't tell you how many times people have walked past me and say, "I'm surprised you listened to that." And I'm like, "Do we limit ourselves when it comes to movies? You watch a good. It doesn't matter if it's a Western. It doesn't matter if it's a biopic." If it's a good movie, it's a good movie. So music should apply just as good equally. Like, so I'm like, listen, if I want to listen to Nirvana or Stone Temple Pilots or Alice in Chains, and then I want to pop on DMX, I'm gonna do it. If I want to pop on, Soft Cell or Spandu Ballot, I don't care. It all
it's amazing.
Because the funny part about it is the person that's laughing about that is listening to their favorite rap song that sampled Spandu Ballot. You know what I mean?
You know what? It's so true, bro. We're guilty. So let's talk about this real quick. See, this is why it's fun when I get somebody that I could just spar with and in a friendly manner. Just talking
all
about
day, baby. All day, baby. All day.
So I'm thinking, like, what's in your car? What's in your playlist? What are you listening to in your car? Your guilty pleasures. Come on.
Okay, so I'm keeping it real. Right now, I'm like on a 70s, like literally on my playlist right now is like Diana Ross, Stevie Wonder, Brothers Johnson, and then
Stevie
like that.
Wonder,
Oh yeah, So
I like Diana Ross with Stevie Wonder.
Oh geez, oh my gosh. So
holy
that's
shit.
that's okay, like right now.
Cool. What else?
Yeah,
you listen to My Little Pony in the car. It's okay.
Well,
I'm gonna tell you what I listen to. I'm gonna tell you after you're done. Go ahead.
Yeah, I got 3 daughters, so then Kids Bop will be on whenever you kind of have to.
Dude.
Oh, dude, man,
you get to listen to that. Bop.
Oh yeah.
Boom, bop.
Oh yeah. Oh, well, Kids Bop is the kids singing the popular pop songs right now.
Exactly.
So it's crazy. What's yours, man?
Okay, there we go. Okay, so this is true, dude. I can't make this up, dude. I'm like listening to White Lion in the car.
Oh,
When
no.
the children cry, let them know we tried.
Ain't nothing wrong with it.
Little child. And then I go, all right, dude. I'm like, I see a car coming down. Fuck that shit.
I don't care. What difference does it make?
And then I'm gonna play. I'm gonna go ahead and play something out like Al Al or Missy Elliott or the Black Eyed Peas with the East LA, representing East LA myself.
Yeah, have a good time. Live your life. Live your life.
I know, but it's funny because I've had people look at me weird, like, dude, they're just like laughing. And I crank it up louder, and then I'm like, and then
like, yeah, you heard this, and it's coming louder at you. Stop looking at me. Stop looking at me.
Listen, the other day I was telling these older people that the windows down, and then I turn around and start playing Slayer.
Oh, for sure. You remember like that cranberry juice commercial where the guy was on the skateboard and he was singing Fleetwood Mac? And
Fleetwood Mac, Dreams or something.
Yeah, and you're
what's
like,
his name,
wait,
Dog or Mad Dog or.
I'm not sure what that guy's name is, but he filmed himself on YouTube, and then he was in a commercial for cranberry juice, and you're just like, that's what life's all about.
Wait, you're talking, so when you and I were growing up, because I'm about 47, 48, you're
42.
Okay, cool. So in their 40s, you remember how like homeboys would never be skating down and listening to Dreams? That's why that thing sold so well. I'm like, who listens to Dreams in a skateboard? And you're like a homie. But it goes back to what we're saying. This is where I grew up. I grew up in East LA. So there was guys that would listen to Led Zeppelin. There were full-on gangbangers. And then dudes would listen to, like, back then it was the oldies, right? It was we didn't have any gangster rap. When I was a kid, it was oldies.
Yes, yes.
You know, all that. It's just like heaven. That's and the guy's like chroming, he's like shining the chrome in his car. And then the next dude would be playing like something completely different, like Boston, more than a feel. And it was like, it was universal. It was, so it's always been that way, but people just, but Hollywood, they stereotype us, put us in a box.
Yes. Right. And then people got, and it was funny is the guy who was, bumping the oldies became the producer that sampled those songs, right? So it all works like, and I can't make a musical note to save my life, but I think
let's do it. Let's try it, bro.
Oh my gosh, it'd be the worst thing ever. For me, I don't want to embarrass you. You might be a phenomenal musician. I don't want to.
Dude, I play guitar, but so my dad was in the Tex-Mex band that never left the garage kind of thing, but I grew up with a lot of Tex-Mex and Mexican regional music. I grew up with a lot of it. I have people in my family that are musicians. And it was always in my wheelhouse. Like I love music. So growing up, it was mom that like rock and roll from the 1950s, like and then my dad was more traditional regional Mexican with like Little Joe and the Familia, and then we listened to stuff Santana and the Hound and that like Malo Santana. And then it would go because I lived in East LA in Lincoln Heights. We had the bands Tierra, El Chicano was in El Sereno, which is just down the street. And then so those bands played at the park. And once upon a time,
that's awesome.
Santana would come out and play Tower of Power. I grew up with all that. So it's like a hodgepodge of music. That's what makes me up. And then I got into Iron Maiden, Metallica, Megadeth.
What more can you ask for? What more can you ask for?
Alice in Chains, man.
And listen, one of my favorite songs from Megadeth is Angry Again, Symphony of Destruction, right? Like you don't have any, people don't understand. You can work out so much better if you listen to that, right? And you're just like, hey, listen, I'm a big fan. It was funny is when Santana came back out in 99, this is what I'm showing my age. I go to my dad, you know, and I'm like, hey man, this guy Santana's got a he looks at me like I'm the stupidest person. He was like, dude, that's like one of the greatest guitarists that ever lived. I don't know who the guy is. You know, because I'm 16 when, you know, that song with him and Rob Thomas drops.
Give me your let's forget about it.
Yeah, I didn't know who the guy was growing up 7, 8 years old. Like I had,
right.
and so they're like, yeah, this is one of the most famous, legendary guys that ever lived. I'm like, and that's when I realized it was time to play some catch up. You know, the internet didn't exist, right? So you're just hearing stuff as it comes along.
Yeah. Do you like new wave? You said soft cell.
Yeah, I like some of that stuff for sure.
Too.
For sure.
I got into the Smiths. I got into Susie and the Banshees, The Cure. My
was
a big goth back in the day. Call it emo later. This gothic, you know, like goth. So we're into all that stuff in the old days, Bajas and all these bands. You know, every influence possible was good. Was good for your repertoire, you know, to have. Like just like I'm gonna stamp this jam. That's cool. Okay, so it's time to actually get into some questions, you know, and find out like where did you start? Are you an Angelino, bro?
No, I'm just outside of Detroit, Michigan, actually. Just outside.
Is that where you're at now?
I'm based in Michigan, and you know, I just started the podcast, you know, a couple months ago, and so what really drove me to do it was
I was the catalyst. I'm excited to hear.
I always would ask and know random facts and anecdotes, and it got to where I'll research things. I'll watch a movie, and then they'll say something, and then I'll look up that something, and then I'll go down the wormhole. And then I would just, like I said, I grew up with an encyclopedia in my bedroom set. Like I always had encyclopedia sets.
Nobody knows what that is.
Right? No, they don't, because Wikipedia is their best friend, or they can chat GPT it. And so it got to the point where I felt like I know I'm the guy at the barbecue that either is going to bore you or make you really laugh about all these random things. So and so then it became, well, what if I just talked about kind of my own curiosity? And my biggest inspiration, this is the truth, was Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves not because he's a movie star and he's one of the best, movie stars that ever lived, but he does documentaries. He does documentaries.
Neil, you're the one.
Yes, he does documentaries. So he did a 10-part series about the guy that built his motorcycles, and then he went around the world. He would go to find about sea life. He found buildings that, you know, there was an architect in Sweden or Norway that built this restaurant that's halfway underwater. He does like about, you know, how we're aliens in some place, you know, randomly. So I'm like, the biggest movie star in the world is a geek. At his heart, he's a nerd, and he's not ashamed of it because he's curious.
Yeah.
I was like,
should be told.
And so I said, you know what, man? Like, why not? Just throw caution in the wind, see what happens.
Oh, yeah. And you did it. Well, here you are.
Appreciate it. I mean,
exciting, man. It's exciting, man.
It's humbling. Cool. It's humbling.
Yeah.
So, and because information now is so accessible, you know, you can turn the discovery. Before you had to seek stuff out, or people had to bootleg, you know, like something, or, you know, dub a tape at some point. Now it's so accessible to you. So I was like, man, I've talked to people who used to work on National Geographic. I've talked to financial gurus. I've talked to writers, fiction authors. And I'm like, I would never have had that opportunity if I didn't throw my hat into the arena.
That's fantastic. I think that you said something so importantly true. And it's par for the course. When you start doing this sort of what I call like a career, you know, future career, it's a hobby at first. You tend to talk to just an array of people with various backgrounds, and you would never find yourself in that sort of front seat, if you will, if it weren't for this medium. So thank God for the podcast world. Excuse me, sorry.
Bless you.
I chew a lot of ice and water and whatnot. So yeah, I'm like an Arctic monkey, literally. It's so cold in here. No. I no matter what, dude, if it could be like wintertime, we're still eating ice here at this house. We go for ice cream. We're like the only ones. No, believe it or not. And just like a little side deal here, like there are people that have ice cream in the wintertime, huh? I don't know what it's about the ice cream in winter. It's good. It's good all year round.
I don't know how winter is up in California. I don't know how winter is in California where you're at, but the winters here are pretty brutal, man. So
That's true. That's true.
woo!
It just it's all relative. Depends on what corner of the earth you're in.
It-
So you talked to quite a bit of people. Let me ask you this. How do you decide like which random topics are worth diving into?
Well, I'm not a bougie guy, right? But like there are topics that I just like. For me personally, I don't. There's two I won't do. If it's an
Okay.
inherently religious show or if it's inherently political one, and I don't say
Okay.
that because I don't see that around me. But there's enough places that people can go for that, right? And so,
Right.
like, I want every guest to feel welcome, and that gets very tribal and territorial, and it's a
Yeah.
level of
It
it
does,
really
man.
does. And and it's not something. If I interview somebody and it's historically and it dives into that, like, hey, this happened during a political presidential term, this
Mm,
bill got signed into law, or
mm,
this country had this particular thing that happened, fair game.
mhm.
But I just
Yeah.
try. I want to stay away from those particular two things because listen, man, it can go
Yeah.
south real quick, and I
Yeah,
want
'cause
to. Yeah, I want to have people leave with a smile on their face when they talk to me. I really do.
I hate that person's
Yeah,
you know.
you know,
Everybody's like, you know what? Bye.
and real talk. And I know it sounds selfish. It's my
Yeah.
space that I get to
Right.
decide. It's my
Yeah.
space, right? You know what I'm
You're
saying? So
absolutely right. You're
yeah,
absolutely right. You ought to dictate who comes on, who stays out.
yeah,
And we're about, and I love that because this is like fertile ground, and you want to plant good stuff that you can harvest. So you want is friendships and
yes.
build bridges and
Yes,
just
yes,
burn them.
yes. Yeah, I'd rather
Wow,
it's
right?
just it can you can have like the best interview, and then if it goes into that, man, like you'll see like the face change on the person, their lip will
Unreal.
stiffen, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna err on the side of caution. But even when you watch Discovery Channel or History Channel, it's kind of
Yeah.
like like I'm trying to like just keep it to where tell me about you, man. Like tell me
Yeah.
what molded you ma'am, what molded you? You have a great song.
Mm.
How did you write that song? You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Yeah.
who you
Yeah.
checked at the ballot box doesn't dictate whether you wrote a good song or not.
No, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, because there are people across the spectrum, who, and across the aisles, political aisles now, that are all brilliant, on either side. And
Right,
like you said, who you check out, it definitely doesn't dictate anything.
right,
Because one thing is to be politically conscious, if you will, and look at things from one way or
right,
one angle, one perspective or whatever,
right,
and a vantage point. And another thing is your creativity. We
right,
all have creativity.
for sure.
And when you find what you're good at, which I can see, yeah, I can mirror both of us here, like we
Yeah.
love to talk. That's what my
Yes.
wife says. No, no, no. You want to talk? I'm done talking to you. Go start your podcast,
I
Mr. Radio Boy. Because I used to be on the radio years ago. I did radio,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and it's like, no, go do a podcast. And I started a podcast. I started working in the closet.
We all
Um,
do. I started in the basement, man. You know what I mean?
in the
Like,
closet.
I mean, you ask any musician how they cut their first
Yeah.
song or their first tape, they're like, dude, I did it in my bedroom in the mirror. Like, like
Or yeah,
there's no
yeah, with a
shame in it.
little recording thing. Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
always quote when I talk about people who like to talk. Like I'm a big
yeah.
movie guy, so I always think of the Maltese Falcon, and the character's name is Casper Gutman. He was actually the inspiration for Kingpin and Spider-Man by
Oh, I
Sidney.
didn't know that.
Look up the
Oh,
actor Sidney Greenstreet. He's a heavy
okay,
set,
hold on.
bald. Yeah, look him up. Real talk.
Okay. See, what is his name?
His name was Sidney Greenstreet.
Oh yeah, Sydney.
Yep, and he's
I'm
the
just
inspiration
gonna.
for. Yep, take your time.
No, no, Well, I wish I had all the time in the world. I'm gonna write it down and look it up,
Yeah,
and then I'm gonna call you.
please
Uh,
do but he looks
so,
exactly how Kingpin looks, and his exact statement about talking was, "I distrust a closed mouth man. He usually talks or says the wrong thing at the wrong time." Now, sir, we'll
wow,
talk if you like to, but I'm a man that likes talking to a man that likes to talk.
I
That's the
love
point.
it. That's
Yeah,
beautiful. That's great, dude.
yeah.
So, do you have a favorite episode that you've gone down a rabbit hole, and it's like this one
Oh,
episode that really stands out that totally surprised you, even?
yeah. I love all my guests equally. So, but one that stood out particular was
Yeah.
there's two actually that really like make you turn your head. There's a woman by the name of Jermaine Cruz, and she survived. She left during the Iranian Revolution in the 70s,
Oh
right?
shit.
And you're just like you kind of pull one of those like holy smokes, wow, like And so you hear about these things, and
Yeah.
you're talking to somebody who lived through a very historical moment. She's doing phenomenally well right now. Follow her on LinkedIn all the time. And then there was another woman named Elizabeth Salaru, and she's
Sorry, I'm putting together my crack pipe. Oh no, it was my pen. Don't think I'm putting together. I was like, I dropped my pen.
I watched New Jack City, man. I know what that's all about. I watched New Jack City, man.
Wow, that lady, that is insane. Huh?
And then
you just think about
Woo!
walking your shoes for a minute, let alone a mile.
Right. And then, there's a woman named Elizabeth Salaru. She was from England, and she was a high-level baker making her own specialty cakes. And she baked for family members of the royal family, right? And you're just like, holy smokes. Like, you serious? Like, you know what I mean? Like, so
we're sharing the same.
We're talking. Right.
Unreal. Yeah,
so
that's next level.
Yeah, man, it's and I get to talk to you. I don't want to forget about you. Like, I'm being interviewed, right? Like, in my house, so I don't want to dismiss what I get a chance to talk to you for, So you're just up there as well, too.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Likewise. I never take one of the things that years ago I learned is to never take anything for granted or nobody for granted. And we're all, at the end of the day, like I just lost a good friend of mine a couple of days ago. And he was a filmmaker and stuff. And
sorry for your loss.
Yeah, man. Thanks. And you know what? All the way around, good guy. But he died, and strangely enough, I think COVID got him because he had chills, and
Oh wow.
You already know the deal with COVID, and so he's starting to like he had a lot of the symptoms, and and then he was also fit the description of a person that with the obesity and whatnot that could probably succumb to something like that. So it was horrible. But I wanted to say that to say he's always say like it's important to talk to everybody.
Yes.
Everybody and anybody, because everybody eventually will become somebody.
Yes.
And then once you find your niche, once you find what you're good at, that's it right there. Once you find God's gift that's been gifted to you or bestowed upon you, and you run with it, you become what you were meant to be on this earth for. Your purpose is fulfilled. And then you become the so-called person, but you strip the layers. Once you've been around famous people all your life, I'm sure you know someone or whatever. It's like, wait a minute, dude. Like, you live there? Wait a minute. You live like this? I thought you were like different. Like, where'd you think he goes? I was driving around Rolls Royce, having my drop holster. Is you throw some more champagne? Like, dude, a lot of people live like normal lives. And once you realize that, we're all the same, dude. It's seriously, it's some people have names and marquees and others don't. At the end of the day, we're all the same, and it's important to learn from one another. Everyone has a story to tell, a book to write.
That's why I started doing this. That's why I started doing this, right? Because
love it, man.
And the other part,
hats off to you, man.
That's why I got the T.R.O.N up here. And just briefly, it's just because somebody's business that they created is not at the top of the Google index does not mean they don't run a successful business. So those are some of the people I get a chance to talk to, right? When you drive down the street, you could be driving down a multi-million-dollar business that you know nothing about, that's owned by somebody that, unless you actually got them on your show, you would never have known how hey man, you run this business here, like this nondescript building that it's up there for a reason. So you just have to basically, like, I literally had to throw caution to the wind and say, whatever happens on the show happens, but I know I tried.
Go for broke, take no prisoners. Let's do it.
So exactly.
I think it's fantastic. Years ago, I started a podcast during the pandemic. I started Juicy Divas Confessions of a Limo Driver. So hence the little limo you see on the corner. It was the Confessions of a Limo Driver, and
that's awesome.
I started that, and with my good buddy Seth Goldstein, and he would help me some of the stuff that I would shoot it over to him. At the time I was working another job, so then he would take care of most of the logistics and the producing and whatnot. And I mean, but we were producing out of the closet. Like, literally I would send all the stuff to him, and then he would figure it and put it in its rightful place, and then give me some form of soundbite that I could halfway decent produce and put out. And I say that because it was funny because a lot of people would have no idea. I was talking to some people that, I guess you could say once upon a time they were well known in Hollywood, and then
Mhm.
it was like they heard my voice. Like, why are you whispering? It's not like you're whispering. Is everything okay with you? Are you are you being held hostage or I need help? I had this one lady. It was funny, dude, because somehow it did sound like I was like doing this, but I didn't realize it. In your head, you don't realize this wasn't that good of an actor, right? Taking enough acting closet. I'm like in the closet, like I have owls because I
Yeah.
did the do-it-yourself kind of like where you do when you go
Yeah.
to voiceovers. You put it, and the lady
I
goes,
mean,
"Are you okay? Are you
you
okay?"
right? Can you speak it? Can you use a certain secret word to make sure you're okay? Like
Like
so.
Morse code.
Right. So Robert Rodriguez, like famous now,
Yeah,
started
yeah.
El Mariachi
Desperado.
on 10. Yeah,
Yeah,
well, the El Mariachi was on a $10,000 budget, and the dude was
seven. Correction,
seven.
seven. Mm-hmm.
Skewed, right? You're
Mm-hmm.
right. And he's had to do like calorie tests. He's like at the University of Austin, Texas, to try to fund it. And they're pushing people in wheelchairs to actually make the scenes go. And what's funny is the
Wow.
lead villain in that movie, everybody spoke Spanish. The lead villain,
Yeah.
he was white, and he didn't
Mhm.
speak Spanish. They put the cue cards on his chest, put
That's right.
sunglasses on him, and then he would read it in Spanish. Notice the guy never took his sunglasses
Yeah.
off, and
You're
that's
right.
why.
You're right. You're right.
Yes,
Oh my God. And
right.
and I could tell when someone's Spanish is choppy. I could tell, like, wait a minute, this guy speaks Spanish. It's like the movie Terminator 2. When I were gonna Terminator 2, remember when what's her name? She goes into a place and it's supposed to be like Mexico.
It has like
Hey,
the guns under
right, and
the.
Pedro this and that, and the guy goes, "Oh, ¿cómo estás?" And his Spanish is so messed up. And the kids is like, he can barely speak Spanish. It's funny. But it worked. Whatever works. I got one for you real quick because we're right
Please,
out.
yes,
I years ago, and we could do part two because I love to talk to you some more. I
appreciate
have
it.
a slew of questions I have in my head. I want to,
It's all
curiosity, inquisitive
yeah,
minds.
anytime.
Um, want to know everything about the AI thing. So that's another thing I want to talk to you about.
Mhm.
Um, okay, are we? Yeah, let's just delve into that real quick, just for the
Yeah,
sake of time. The next thing we could talk offline one of these days. But
absolutely.
whatever I was going to tell you is going to be movie related. We can
Yeah,
spend the
it's all
whole
good. It's all
here
good.
talking about it. So do you think like how close are we to having because you watch these pizza delivery boxes that go around and they're like operated by robots
Right.
and everything seems to be tying into AI. AI is being taught far
Of
and wide
course. Of course.
at a school
Of course.
level.
Right.
Kids are learning about the tools that they can use and all this stuff. How
Right.
far are we from, a reality where everything that I'm talking about now in terms of going into a fast food place,
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
where it's only going to be one person? How far are we from like, is it far-fetched to have everything be like run by computers, like computer
Right.
operated?
Well, here's my
This,
2 minute. Here's my 2 minute anecdote on that. I think
okay.
people will still create personal interaction. I think it can be used as a
Mhm.
tool to supplement, what you're doing. I do think that we've all been at the grocery checkout line, and then about 10
Yeah.
seconds later, when the self checkout didn't work, and then we're waiting there because either you didn't have a coupon, you didn't type in your subscriber number, or whatever the case may be, and then you have to flag a person down. So I think sometimes what happens is business overcorrect, and then there'll be a comeback to kind of earth moment where maybe they need to put people
Yeah.
back in certain positions. And plus, contrary to popular opinion, 80% of the population does not live in an urbanly dense area. So there's no guarantee that it's going to hit
Mhm.
every single major rural area.
Mhm. Right. Not to mention what you just finished saying is so true. Like computers are set. So it's like creatures of habit. This is what they're doing, kind of thing. And they're not open for on second thought.
Right.
Kind of the way we are. We're more flexible. We're
Right.
flexible. And the fact of the matter is we have more malleable. We could
Right.
change our minds, we could change things where if a robot is set in its ways, it does what it's gonna do and
Exactly.
and it can go back on something. So hence why it's important to have the human element there, right?
Right.
Humanity. Now, do you think there are places where it's run almost. What about the Waymo cars? Have you been in a Waymo lately?
I've never been in a Waymo car. No, I haven't been in one of those. I mean, like, here's the funny part. People think AI now. Well, spell check is AI. So you had spell check on your computer, like, and plus, like, this podcast, right? Your podcast, your success. Is anybody going to want to talk to an AI chatbot anytime soon when it comes to doing a podcast? I promise you they won't.
I hope not.
Oh my God.
Put you and I out of work. That's it.
But it's not even, it's not even like you can't even feel it. You can't even have a spontaneous reaction to something.
Yeah, you're right. Well, there's no human element, so there are no like hear me out. Here's what they're going to be missing: the essence of humanity, the flawness of us, as it were. The having those what do you call it? Antics, things that have happened, funny moments, situational things. A robot doesn't have that, and so therefore they cannot duplicate us, guys. So don't let the AI fool you.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
just be you, man.
Waymo, you could set where you're going, but it goes in the direction that it's supposed to go based on like ways and whatnot. So I had a friend that was telling me how it's flawed in many ways. Like it's not a perfect science its own. I told her, honey, it's never gonna be a perfect science. Ever. Because we can always, like I finished telling you earlier, this thing is set at a certain precise way of going about, and it's linear. Right. We can be more malleable and kind of change, sort of switch gears and say, almost no pun intended, switch gears and say, let's go this way instead.
You had the pen with it said it's my crack pipe. A computer would be like, no, Jim, that is not. It would have been like, no, Jim, that is not a crack pipe in your hand. It's a.
This is not a crack pipe.
That's my point.
Stab people.
You're right. And so it's like, listen, it wouldn't have no spontaneous human reaction. So
yeah, you're right. So yeah, man. I mean, Jesus. So we're down to 2 more minutes. I like to real quickly. Okay. You think curiosity, like your caliber of curiosity, because you're very curious, by the way, and it's great. Sure. The more curious you are, the more you know.
Absolutely.
That's the secret sauce. The more curious you are, the more you know. Can that be something that is taught? Can curiosity be something that is fostered? Like, can curiosity be something that could be the sort of perhaps what's the right word I'm looking for? Can curiosity be implanted into someone? Can you help it by suggestions, by hey, how? Because usually people are born curious. That's something I've always learned. There's people that are
guy. So no, I'm saying I was that guy. That wasn't me cutting you off, right? So like it was. I think it has to be part of you to realize that the world in front of you can't just drive past everywhere and just go on autopilot, right? You're bigger than your zip code. You're bigger than the building you drive past. You can time the red lights in your neighborhood. So everything becomes static and kind of stale at some point. So I was always a guy that said, okay, this portion of history, what caused this part of history? Why did that happen? Who was the leader of that country? Why is this country maybe in the condition that it is? No judgment, but I just want to know. And so I've always kind of had that kind of embedded in my DNA.
Inclination. It's in your DNA. Just like when I was growing up, my mom, rest her soul, was very much inclined to teach us to always ask questions, which you could say it's kind of a preamble of being curious, precursor to curiosity. You ask the questions because first you're curious and then you ask the questions. So it's kind of like maybe you're working it backwards or reverse engineering it, but it still works in the same like manner. You're asking questions. Right. Therefore, I guess it sparks curiosity. So I was always asked to ask questions. Like it was very much impressed upon me and my sister as well.
And just briefly, I would never have talked to you if I wasn't curious. Never. Never would have been able to talk to you.
Guys, that is our show. My God, my man Rashad, you got to come back on this show sometime. Maybe we could do it in person. It would be great.
I would love to sit down and talk with you because if you're this funny over the internet, I can't wait to get a chance to sit back, dap you up, and talk in real life.
Hey, who are you talking to? I mean, but Yeah, thank you. Likewise, I love your humor. I love your sense of humor. You have great energy to you. I felt the energy from the get-go. The minute you just lit up the whole room, you
Appreciate you,
know?
brother.
Check it
Appreciate
out.
you.
It
Yeah.
was like, whoa, what's going on? Rashad came on and
You know what? I
boom,
got
voila. Let
my
there be light. Yeah.
clairvoyancy skills are top notch right now. You know what I mean?
That's also true because it's almost funny how you know things about me. I know you do.
For sure.
I
For
know
sure.
that. Yeah, you said the crack pipe. No, I'm just kidding. Guys,
No.
it's a pen. Let's put
Yeah.
that out there. It's a pen.
100%. 100%.
Nothing more, nothing less.
Yeah, absolutely.
Simplicity finest. All right, guys, that's my show. Thank you for joining us today on an awesome, glorious, wonderful Sunday. God bless every one of you. Thank you for being on Almost Famous Radio Podcast. Go visit my friend at T.R.O.N. Tron, guys. And so you guys, if you're curious, if not, get curious. This is the randomness of nothing. I love it.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you.
I appreciate you too. Oh, real quick, your social media handles, please.
T.R.O.N podcast. You know, you can find me Rashad Woods, T.R.O.N podcast in YouTube. You know, I'll be honest with you, out of all the talking I do, I'm horrible at social media. I'm horrifically bad at it. I'm horrible at it. So if people just look up T.R.O.N podcast, all the social media handles will follow them on the major podcast platforms as well too.
I'm so terrible. I only do stories these days. It's so lazy. I'm
terrible.
It just goes across the spectrum of social media, but I'm so bad with that. But yeah, we got to get better at it. But you know what? We're a work in progress. Most importantly, it's great to talk to wonderful people such as yourself.
Thanks, brother.
Good Lord bless you. That's it, guys. Hello and goodbye until we meet again. Thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you.
I'm blessed beyond belief to have you on. Until next time.
Appreciate you.
God bless. Take care. Bye.